why it's a mistake for me to take Social Security at age 70. This is part 2. Hey, before we get into that, hey folks, I just passed 2 million views, thanks to you. 2 million views, 166,000 hours of watching videos, and they only give you last 90 days, but a little over 500,000 people, individuals over the last 90 days, unique viewers, watch these videos. Hey folks, need some help? I don't say this in every video, but 87% of the people watching this video are non-subscribers. 5% hit like, 1% give a comment. All these things help the YouTube algorithm. Hit subscribe, hit like. You don't need that. Those are 2 buttons. Comments, you may have to hit 10 keys, okay? So please help out there. It expands the message, gives more people into the conversation. I get more content. Most of my content comes from you and your ideas. I turn down a lot of affiliate marketing, which other YouTube producers do not. They will pay me a lot of money. $1,500 is the going rate to add a 30-second, 10-second video to my videos. I don't want you guys to have to watch them because I think these numbers will go down. But I do make money from this, and please help me out. This really does help out spread our message and gives Joe a little extra retirement money. Let me say that Social Security is a personal decision. There's risk profiles you'd like to have. There's different buckets of investments that you have, and everybody's different. Some people have a big pension. Some people have a moderate-sized pension. Some people have no pension. Based on all these things, and your life expectancy, makes the right decision for you. So this may not be the right answer for you. So you don't need to argue with me on saying, hey, you're wrong. It's just like, hey, these are the cards I'm playing with all the factors affecting me. There is no right and wrong answer here. And I think people are struggling to say that there is the perfect answer, and that's just not true. So, hey, mistakes, and these are 4 common ones that categories, I guess, that came in the 500 comments I received. Time value of money. Yes, you can take Social Security at 62 and say you got a 5% return on that money, over time. That's not too bad. At age 83, the delay of waiting to full retirement age overcomes. So say you wait till 67 and then you start investing that and start comparing apples to apples, it overcomes at 83. So when you look at this option, you think, what can go wrong? Well, that's in the market. You could put this all in Tesla stock and you say, hey, gosh, Joe, I put it in Tesla stock and I returned 100% a year. Okay, but what risk was involved with that? This is all market risk. A lot of things can go wrong. You could have the Great Depression, okay? You can have the lost decade, 2000 to 2010. You can become Japan, who has had a flat stock market for 30 years. 30 years. These things happen, folks. So there is risk in doing this. It could be great. It could be terrible. Okay? So it is market. What I want you to know there, it's market determined. That's the big message right here. Market determined. Remember that. I'll come back to that. Okay. And then this should say getting into Social Security before the rules change or Social Security runs out of money. Folks, if they make any changes, most likely they'll be phased in. If I'm 62, 63, 64, and there are dramatic changes, I can get in at that time, right? They won't make that change and, everything is different on Monday. I see pretty low risk of that. There's a lot of voters that anybody that's older than 50 is going to vote for Social Security. So I'm not worried about that. Number 3, I won't live to my 70s, 78, 80, pick the age. The number one fear in retirement is running out of money. So what can you do to not run out of money? And, some people were arguing, I'm planning on dying earlier. Well, and somehow if they take the money at 62 and die at 70, you win. I don't consider that winning. My goal here is to not run out of money. Number 4, I want to enjoy my money while I'm in my 60s versus in the 80s. My simple answer to that, the money is money, no matter where you take it from. Whatever, if you take it out of stocks, take it out of bonds, take it out of cash, take it out of gold, take it out of Bitcoin, it's money. It doesn't matter where the money comes from. I know a lot of people like the aspect of it's coming in like a paycheck. and I could take my pension if I get one, and this paycheck that comes in and try to live on that, and then put my investments in a nice little box over here. But money's money, but there is some diversity that you need in your portfolio, and I'm going to talk about that. Okay. So to understand somebody's Social Security decision, mine in this case, you've got to see it in the context of their plan, their assets, their plan. Okay. So that's why there's an individual decision on where Social Security fits, whether they take it at 62, 70, 67, whatever. Okay. So my plan. Okay. Keep that in mind. This is not the right plan. This is Joe's plan. Okay. If you remember, if you watch some of my videos, I use buckets. I have 3 buckets of money. Let's review that. Bucket 1, I have 4 years out of the market. I have a lot in cash, some in some investments like I-bonds. I got about 5% in stocks, but it's 95.5, 5% stocks. So that's my 4 years out of the market. That's how I handle a bear market, how I'm handling a recession. I've got 4 years out of the market. You look at at history, they'll say most of them are over in 2, 3, 4 years. I should capture most of those. Bucket 2 is I have another 4 years that are in balance, 60-40 balanced. If a bear market goes longer, historically balanced funds over a 5-year period have not lost money. So because and I use a managed fund, and they're able to move these percentages around based on what bonds are paying and what stocks are paying, and use a little momentum and all kinds of other strategies. But I like having that in bucket 2. But then we go on to bucket 3, which is 75% of my invested assets. That's 100% stocks. Okay, so let's just take a look at that. This is out of the market, bucket 1. That's out of the market. I got 4 years covered. This is in the market, and everything's down this year, 2022. And this is in the market. What I'm lacking is a fixed asset, okay? Notice there's no pension. Now, if you have a large pension, you got 50% of your expenses covered with a pension, you got that as an anchor. I don't have that anchor, okay? So when I look at Social Security, I'm looking for something with no market sensitivity. No market sensitivity, because I got tremendous market sensitivity in bucket 2 and 3. So as I'm going out to age 70, I'm totally exposed to the market. I'm looking for something to diversify my portfolio to get out of that market sensitivity and maximize my sole survivor benefit. I'm married, and my wife will get half of my Social Security benefits, so I want to maximize that. Say my benefit's $3,000, hers will be a maximum of $1,500 if we time it right. So that's a $4,500 a month benefit. But when one of us dies, we go to the maximum person, which would be me, which would be $3,000. So when one of us dies, we're going to get a pay cut. I want to make that as maximum as I can, and I want to take that out of the market. Social Security is really my doomsday plan in case there's a depression, in case that lasts 10, 15 years, in case there's the lost decade at the wrong time, the 2000 to 2010, or something like Japan, where they have seen no growth in their stock market in 30 years. What are you going to do in case of one of these doomsday situations? I like being out of the market. I needed some out of the market sensitivity with my plan because I don't have a big pension. This makes sense for me. You could look at your situation and come up with a completely different answer that is right for you. This is Joe out.